Welcome to One Life to Live, where we're all about using the latest technology to help you reach your health and fitness goals. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how artificial intelligence is changing the game when it comes to weight loss and healthy eating. From tracking data and developing personalized programs to answering commonly asked questions, AI has the power to revolutionize the way that we approach fitness. So, if you're ready to take your health and wellness to the next level, then get ready to discover how AI can help you achieve your weight loss and healthy eating goals like never before. And as an added bonus, this very intro was actually generated by an AI. So let's dive in and see how AI is transforming the fitness industry as we know it. No, wait. We need something a little edgier, something contrarian to show that I'm not just an AI shill. How about something a little sarcastic? Maybe with a little bit of skepticism? Yeah, good. Make me sound like an edgelord. Well, fitness fans. It looks like we're about to get a lesson in how artificial intelligence is supposedly changing the fitness industry. Yippee! Because we all know the best way to get in shape is to rely on a bunch of algorithms and machines to tell us what to do. I mean, who needs a personal trainer or nutritionist when you've got an AI? I'm sure all the hard work, dedication, and discipline required to reach our fitness goals will be a thing of the past now that AI is here to save the day. Oh, and did I mention how some of those supposedly miraculous AI solutions are being developed by OpenAI? Wow, I can't wait to see what kind of magic they conjured up. I mean, I'm sure it'll totally be worth all the money I'll be spending on their products they'll put out in the future. So put down your dumbbells and cancel your gym membership because it's time to let AI take the reins. Right, let's get the show on the road. Not bad, right? So here's the real David talking to you guys. I kind of sound a little different when I'm not scripted, obviously, but it was pretty interesting to see how the AI generated a couple different takes on the same thing. And that's actually something that's kind of cool for the brainstorming process. When I was making this video, I was like, how should I go? Should I go with the skeptic kind of AI, skeptic kind of approach, or should I go with like the all-in kind of approach? And I kind of fall somewhere in between. I just think AI is an interesting tool that you can use. It could be used for the creative process. It could be used for brainstorming. It can be used just for generating ideas and spitballing. But ultimately, it's going to be up to you to ask it how to develop a program for you. And then once you get that program or whatever kind of information that you ask it, it's up to you. It's your responsibility to check with somebody who actually knows what the hell they're talking about. Like me, have them proofread it over, give them some feedback, and be on your merry way. So let's talk about all these different kind of uses for AI and how you can use it, how I'm going to use it, and how we're going to use it as a society going forward. Coming right up in the video. Stay tuned, guys. All right, so let's see a couple examples of the cool kind of questions that you can ask Chat GPT and what it gave me as responses. So the first thing is I asked it to calculate my percent body fat for a weight loss goal. So it actually used the very commonly used Harris-Benedict equation. And after it ran that, I was like, hey, can you do that with the Cunningham equation? Shout outs to Eric Trexler. He likes this one for bodybuilders and more active people. And then it did that. So it's actually kind of cool that you can ask it a question and then you can say, hey, can I have that, but tweak it? I mean, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you see what everybody else is eating and somebody else orders something that sounds really good. So you're like, I'll just have exactly what he's having, but easy on the mayo. You know, it's not like you're unoriginal. You're just hearing like a really good idea that gets you salivating, gets you going a little bit, and then you just kind of tweak it. And that's what is great for this, is it can just quickly do these tweaks so fast for you. So for example, I asked it to make an exercise program with cardio and resistance training. And then after it did that, I said, can you make that just a strength training program? And then just with free weights, and then just with body weight, and then 5 days a week. And then I was like, oh, well, can you do a HIIT workout? And it did. It knew exactly what those were, and it gave me them all really fast, and it just quickly brainstormed all these ideas for me. So clearly it's pretty good at exercise programming, but let's move on to nutrition, because nutrition is one of those super loaded topics where people are like religious zealots when it comes to like, this is how I eat, this is how I need to eat, and your recommendations don't work for me. And you know, AI doesn't care. It's not biased at all. It'll just tweak it right for you. So first of all, I asked it, hey, can you make me a meal plan? And then I was like, that's pretty cool. Now, can you make it vegan? And that was actually pretty interesting challenge for it because I also told it, hey, can you tweak the calories to 2,000 calories per day? Can you tweak the macros so I'm getting 130 grams of protein? And can you make it vegan? And then on top of that, I was like, okay, this isn't for the vegan thing anymore, but I asked it to make a table that broke it down into breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Perfect. Now I got this nice little organized chart that I could print out or use for the future or hand out to my clients or whatever. You know, you could sell it as your own nutrition program if you are interested in that kind of thing. I mean, if you guys want me to do that, I'll do it for you, and I'll print it out and I'll sell it on my website. If you guys want the one that I approve of, sure. But anyways, what's cool about that is you can take all the information it gave to you and you just say, hey, can you generate this as a shopping list for me? And then boom, you got your exact nutrition program, the proper amount of protein, everything that you would need. So then it can just take everything that you gave it in these fancy tables and then you say, awesome, I'm ready for the next step. Spit this out as a grocery list for me so I can go shopping. And then boom, you have this nice little list that you can bring to the store and you're already on your way to better nutrition. Or I could just, like on my site, I could just come up with my own program, and then if you like it, you can just copy that program, put it into the AI software and say, hey, can you do this, but make it vegan? Or you can make it, can you make it keto? Or can you make it whatever? Carnivore? I don't really recommend it, but sure. Maybe you want to do you, take my stuff and run with it. And another thing that I asked it for was tips on squat form. And then after it gave me the tips on a barbell back squat, I asked it, hey, should I be holding my breath while I'm doing it? And then it gave me a response on that. And it mentioned the Valsalva maneuver. And I said, okay, well, what is the Valsalva maneuver? And it gave me an answer for that. Then I asked for tips on healthy protein foods, high fiber foods, tips for weight loss, and so on and so on. So it's just really good at generating advice for you and tips that you can follow. And if you want to use them, use them. If not, then just generate something else. Ask away, because it's never going to get tired. It's never going to get tired of your crappy questions, because the AI, it's very patient and it will help you. So that's another benefit, is just that it's going to always be there for you. Just don't tell it to go out for some milk, because it might not come back. I'm a little afraid to try myself after my dad never came back. Yeah, he did. He just didn't have any milk. All right, so far I've given him a bunch of really softball questions, but let's play hardball here. Let's actually give it some controversial topics to, the spicy stuff to ask, like, hey, is intermittent fasting good for weight loss? What are the best exercises for losing belly fat? It's like, those are the questions that you just want to take the person and be like, it's not that crazy, it's not that difficult. There is no targeted exercises for losing belly fat. It's just diet. Diet with the exercise works. It's like the simple things. But it actually did a pretty good job, especially for the intermittent fasting stuff, where it's like there really isn't enough research out there right now for any definitive answers. But if you guys are interested, I did do a podcast episode on that exact question, on some of the latest stuff on intermittent fasting. I did it a year or two ago, so it might not be like the most recent thing, but it actually has a decent amount of nuance in there, and I do parse through the research, so check that out if you're interested. So like I said, the AI did a pretty decent job, but I'm just starting to scratch the surface on some of these different options that it can provide for you. Leave a comment down below of what you'd like me to ask the AI, and then I'll give you some feedback on it and see if it's any good. But as a newcomer, I could definitely see this being a super useful tool just to get the ball rolling, so that you have some clear-cut answers that are somewhat nuanced and that are actually providing relevant information that's not just a bunch of marketing stuff. Like, the AI doesn't have any incentive right now to persuade you to buy their program, or try out this new device, or subscribe to their methodology and buy their book. So that's one nice thing, is the AI is not biased. But as a newcomer, you still have to be careful, because you have to also remember that as a newbie, being on the low end of the Dunning-Kruger curve, you don't actually know what questions that you're not asking. Like, knowing more allows you to ask tougher questions. And that might be where an experienced trainer like me, or your personal trainer, can help you ask more of these better questions. And for those of you who don't know, the Dunning-Kruger effect is where you don't know a lot, but you think that you know a lot. And then as you start to become more experienced, you start to know just how much you don't know, and just how not good you are at the activity, and how unknowledgeable you actually are on something. And then when you become towards the expert level, you start to realize you don't know a lot, but you start to know exactly where your knowledge falls into that, the general knowledge base, that one specific area where you really feel confident. But I actually asked the AI, how can I use the Dunning-Kruger effect for weight training? And that was actually a really good response. The Dunning-Kruger effect occurs when a person's lack of knowledge and skills in a certain area cause them to overestimate their competence. By contrast, this effect also causes those who excel in a given area to think that the task is simple for everyone and also underestimate their relative abilities as well. So like somebody who's really good at working out, they might think, oh yeah, this is super easy. Why don't you just do a barbell back squat? I do it all the time, should be pretty easy. When they don't realize that it took them a long time to eventually become really good at barbell back squats, and they shouldn't just give that as a recommendation to a complete newcomer because it'll scare them away. It's actually a highly technical exercise. So when you got those really technical exercises, you want to usually ask a trainer to look at your form and do all that. And we're not really there just yet with AI, but you can ask it for just general advice. So if you're not really sure if you're doing the barbell back squat correctly, you can always ask the AI for some tips. And that's what I actually did. I asked the Chat GPT, hey, what's the best way to do a barbell back squat? Give me some tips. And if you look, it actually gave some pretty good advice. And this is just stuff that you can keep in the back of your head. And then also in conjunction with like looking maybe at footage of yourself or having a friend or a trainer or somebody who's a fitness professional actually analyze it, they can actually look at and see what your deficits are. But just having these little bullet points can be super helpful for when you're first starting out as like just a little checklist to go through in your head when you're actually doing the exercise, especially if you just be doing it some super exotic way because you saw some fitness influencer on Instagram doing it a bizarre way, and it's a nightmare sometimes. So this actually was very helpful. So I mean, are all personal trainers out of a job now that they got these AIs to analyze everything? Well, no, obviously there's the human component, and there's something to be said about somebody who actually cares about you and actually tries to keep you accountable and is your friend, and that's kind of like how I try to be. But a lot of times, you know, the thing that makes people actually succeed is the habits that they build, and being able to track things can be super motivating. And AI are really good at tracking things. They're really good at showing you charts of your progress, and that can be super encouraging. That's why as trainers, we always try to write down your exercises so you can see the progress as you go. But you can still use a trainer, and I feel like just the way that trainers are going to be used in the future is just maybe a little bit different than how they're used right now. So I think that if AI is used in combination with a trainer, trainers could probably take on even more clients. They could probably supervise programs. They're also able to manage their programs by having people just kind of generate things, and then they're kind of like just someone who provides feedback and looks through the AI generated thing and says, yeah, well, I know based off of your personality and just talking with you that maybe you want to try these certain things out. So basically just using it as a springboard to help your clients get the ball rolling. You can think of it almost as like the AI is generating a rough draft, and then the personal trainer is finalizing the draft. He's like your editor that goes through and polishes it, makes it the best program ever, and just makes sure that there's not any weird recommendations in there and nothing that's going to get you hurt, and just making sure that everything's okay. So at this point you're thinking, wow, that's pretty cool, but what's the catch? And the catch is that even though it's free right now, it's somewhat limited. It's still in the research stage, and here's some of the limitations that I found. So one thing that I found right off the bat was after I generated these really cool tables that had meal plans and grocery lists that I wanted to export into Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word, it wasn't capable of doing that. And it also can't show you pictures. So if you're trying to like look something up and you're just like, hey, how do I properly do a push-up? It can't show you a picture of a push-up, but it can describe the push-up to you. So I'm sure like as they add to this, they can add more options like how to export things into other programs, how to interface with other pieces of software, and just how to show you things visually. Like for example, that Dunning-Kruger effect would have been great if I could have showed you that graph, but it can't actually show the graph because it can't actually show pictures. And another thing that I found that was a limitation was the fact that if you try to do research on there, you can have it look up and pull up a bunch of really relevant, super specific articles that you're looking for, but it actually apologized to me because I asked for stuff from the last 5 years, and it said, I'm sorry, but I actually can't access anything newer than 2021 because that's when this knowledge base was built, and it can't actually parse through any knowledge that's past that. So it found exactly what I was looking for, but when I asked for newer stuff, it wasn't quite there yet. And the final limitation I want to talk about is just the simple fact that you can't actually use your own personal data in this. You can tell it some things, you can say like I'm this many years old, I weigh this many pounds, you give them your basic information and it uses that for certain equations, but it doesn't have like all your personal data. And that's where tech companies in the future come in with their proprietary AI software and their algorithms that'll automatically track the things for you. Like I was talking about on Macro Factor, where I have all my information on there for my nutrition stuff, it looks at all that information and it spits out all these graphs, all these beautiful pieces of data. It automatically adjusts what I'm doing without having to like break my program. It just automatically knows how to fix my weight loss goals and everything, fix my macros. It fixes it all for you and it does it all along a timeline. So in the future, that's going to be an example of like how this stuff is used, is that you have smart AI that aggregates and analyzes the information, and then it passes it back to you, and then you just tell it when you want to achieve your goals and how you want to do it, and it just automatically kind of does it for you, fixes it for you, makes it easy. So that's a pretty good recap of like how you can use it, how a newcomer could use it, or just anybody who's interested in like exploring the AI options. How I'm going to use it in the future is just for probably spitballing ideas, generating ideas for video ideas. Like I asked the AI stuff for my YouTube channel. It gave me some good ideas, like nothing that I couldn't come up with by myself, but just ideas that kind of help get the creative juices flowing. But if you guys would like, what you could do is you could go onto this AI, OpenAI software, Chat GPT, and if you want to, try using it and then submit it to me. In the future, I'm probably gonna make some tutorials on how to use this AI technology, but it's not exactly like it's super hard to use this program. If you ask it to do something and it doesn't do it a certain way that you want it to do, it's actually pretty good at correcting its own mistakes. So let's talk about how we can use it right now for this channel. I can use it in the brainstorming process for video ideas. I can ask it trending topics. I can ask it to look up popular search terms and keywords. And then people can submit their AI responses to me, and then I can give them like the thumbs up or the thumbs down on whether or not what it's giving them is actually good advice. So I can kind of give you guys feedback. So it's an interesting time, like it's an exciting time. I'm gonna make some more stuff coming up in the future. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. Give me a comment down below with your favorite AI responses that you got when you tried it out, or if it's something that you want to see me do. And remember, you guys only got one life to live. And I'll catch you in the next video.